Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Bashem Rakak Wadash. My name is Jacobo from Plain Tables Camp in Philly. And this lesson is on the lesson of the Apostle Tahar. Did, roughly on that, this Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, it's adultery. She said she was saying she didn't feel right in the marriage, and so she decided to go out of the relationship and heal. I believe the word she used, heal someone, help heal someone. And she said that what she did wasn't a transgression. Now I understand that both of they're in Hollywood, so they're both pretty much freaks in my opinion, and they did all sorts of transgressions. But, our people, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, look up to these individuals as a power couple. And they will respect the behavior or the lifestyles of these two. This is why that's a good example to use for how Israel not to go. All right? Because they're both, in Hollywood, so that they both have to commit some gross transgressions. Men with men, women with women, maybe some pedophilia there. But the whole thing is, Jada is justifying her being an adulterer. All right, and that reason is because women have become the reason why she can justify herself being an adulterer and justify the nonchalant, the easygoing attitude that she was healed because she went outside the relationship, went outside the marriage. She was actually healed, and she helped heal someone. All right, which that's complete confusion. All right, and part of that is because of feminism. And that they're in Hollywood, so they're all freaks. You heard the rumors. All right. So, but feminism. Now we're not these famous people. We're just regular people. But us regular people want to adapt the lifestyles of the rich and famous, which is it's not conducive. Okay, it's not going to produce a healthy relationship. All right. So feminism is a range of social movements, political movements, ideologies that aim to define, establish, and achieve the political, economic, personal, and social equality, all right, of the sexes, all right, or genders, all right. Feminism incorporates the position that societies prioritize the male point of view, and the women are treated unfairly within those societies, which that's not true. Treated unfairly. Now, prioritize the male point of view is definitely true, but treated unfairly, that's subjective on your school of thought, your faith. Now being a Hebrew Israelite, definitely the male point of view is prioritized. All right, cheating with more importance, absolutely. And that women are treated unfairly is not true. That's something they manufactured, and with their version of feminine, with their version of what's right and what's wrong. All right, because women are supposed to be subject to their husbands. As gender stereotypes. Or you have gender stereotyps, or what gender roles, roles. All right. So feminism. And the elder Apostle Tahar, he was saying that in the ancient world that these women and a lot of these men would have been put to death for making statements that she made, and going along with these actions. They would have been put to death for committing those acts. The women and the men would have been put to death for committing those acts. All right. So this is, well, no, we're going to start there. We're going to start at Ephesians 5:24. So therefore, as the church is subject unto Hamashiach, it says Christ there, which means anointed. Hamashiach is the Hebrew. So let the wives be subject to their own husbands in everything. All right. So when you're being subject to your own husbands, that means the male point of view is prioritized. All right. So feminism aims to create social equality between that. So if you don't have, if you don't have the point of view where the male point of view, if you don't have it now, that the male point of view is prioritized, then you can't be a Hebrew Israelite, because the male point of view is prioritized. All right. And where do we get our point of view from? We get it from the spirit, what Yahushua set up. All right, the Lord Yahushua set it up that way, that the male point of view is prioritized. All right, so if the male point of view is not prioritized, you could not be in the faith. All right, you might just be a feminist, or just be a ratchet hood rat, or a quasi conservative suburbanite. All right. Subject, which again, I shouldn't have to look this word subject up. It says in everything, to what you wear, how your hair is. If your husband don't want you wearing weave, but you shouldn't be wearing weave anyway. You shouldn't be wearing weave. All right. If you're not supposed to be outside the house with leggings on, that's your husband. That's the attire your husband's supposed to see. Not the world, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And everything, I mean your wardrobe. Right? But then that should be self-evident that you're not supposed to dress like that in public. You know, I shouldn't have to tell you that. All right, so we're gonna look up subject, I believe here. We got hupatasso, which means to arrange under. So you're set in order. You're neat. You're positioned a certain way under your husband. All right. Subordinate. You're of a lower rank. All right. To put into subjection, to submit to one's control, to obey, to yield. All right. So there should be no question there. Again, if the male point of view isn't prioritized, then you're not in the faith. All right. Again, these are things that should come natural to you. There's too much information out there to be an excuse for you not to know how to carry yourselves as Hebrew Israelites. You know, men, they like to have their women, dressed provocatively so other men can see them. And their thinking behind it is, well, so they can lust after my woman, but they can't have them. That's again, if you thinking that way, you're not a Hebrew Israelite. You're just a regular person in the world, which most people are. Yeah, and I accept. There's a consequence to your actions, to how you think, and how you conduct yourself. But you can do whatever you want, but there's a consequence. All right. Therefore, as the church is subject to Hamashiach, so let the wives be subject. So let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. All right. Of course, we're not promoting you or telling you to transgress any laws. All right. But, you get simple. You start going to trains of thought like that. It's pas, which means collectively, individually, any, all, everyone, all things, everything collectively. All right. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might be sanctified and cleansed with the washing of the water by the word. All right. So denounce feminism. Now you look up adultery. They have a modern definition, newspeak, of what adultery means. It says voluntary sexual intercourse between married persons and a person who is not his or her spouse, which that's not biblical. She was committing adultery with a much younger man. All right. Now the she, yes, because a woman cannot have more than one man. So that's right there. But voluntary intercourse between a married person and a person who is not their own spouse is not exactly correct. The woman cannot be married to another man. It's the only way a man can commit adultery. If a woman has sex with anybody outside of her husband, that's committing adultery. Adultery, extramarital sex that is considered objectionable on social, religious, moral, or legal grounds. Voluntary activity between a married man and someone other than his wife, or between a married woman and someone other than her husband. Between a married woman and someone other than her husband is true, but between a married man and someone other than his wife is not true. So long as the woman that he's dealing with outside his main wife is not married, then it's not adultery. All right. Voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and someone other than his or her lawful spouse. Now we got to argue what lawful means. Well, according to the scriptures, a man can have more than one wife. All right. Now, the more wives you have, that's more responsibility. So you're not supposed to have multiple wives and not have the resources and the knowledge to take care of them. Really, in this day and age, not really even the resources, it's really the knowledge, because women are really supposed to have your own house. Not really supposed to be laid up with your with your husband. All right. Give Sarah for an example. When Isaac took Rebekah into Sarah's tent. You're supposed to have really supposed to have your own space. All right. But again, we understand the current situations that we're in. Certain brothers are going to have their wives living with them, or their wife living with them. I wouldn't promote multiple wives living under the same household. All right. I would actually denounce that in this modern age. This is adultery, sexual adultery, adulterer. All right, so it's basically a bunch of confusion and non-specifics. All right. So we're going to look up Leviticus 20:10. It says, the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife. Okay, or a man that committeth adultery with man's wife. Even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So that's what's supposed to happen. When you lay up with another man's wife, you're supposed to be put to death. And the woman's supposed to be put to death. All right. Now we look up adultery means, it really goes back to, in the English anyway, it means to alter, to change. And this is pertaining to the marriage, this adultery. All right. Because the word adultery has several meanings, but when you get specific as pertaining to the Hebrew here, na'ap is referring to adultery always with another. It's like always with the wife of another. Okay, always with the wife of another. All right. Adultery of idolatrous worship. All right. Adulterer, a woman breaking wedlock. All right, meaning a woman that commits, has sex with another man. All right, a man can have more than one woman. All right, there we go on. I think I had. That's the marriage. This is Exodus 21:10. It says, if he take him another wife, her food, her remnant, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. All right, Issachar, another, refer to an additional person or thing. All right, used to refer to an additional person or thing, added, extra, supplementary, or what is already present or available. All right, other, a different, further. All right, so there's no confusion there. All right, in marriage, we got marriage. We got I will not, which cohabitation, really, cohabitation, but of course the more money you have, the more spread out you can be. All right, but typically, it would be cohabited, with different, rooms, so to speak. Conjugal rights. Conjugal means to join together. I think that was that conjugal means. Duty of marriage. I have conjugal definition. All right, goes back to with the yoke, to be bound together. All right, not matrimony. All right, marriage, to be joined together. Matrimony, I believe I did a video, talks about the mother or a woman or something like that. All right, you go to the Hebrew, it means joined together. Should take lachak. Means to take. They got a problem with that too. We're not going into that here. Duty of marriage shall not diminish. All right. And there's got a playlist called Marriage or Family. Just if you want no additional information, just look through that. All right, so we're moving on. Yeah, so certain things that the husband's supposed to provide. Mainly strong male leadership and protection. All right, honorable women will be protected. All right, dishonorable women will not. All right. Where should we go now? Did we went through that? Adultery, went through that. All right. Proverbs 6:32. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Because to commit adultery with another man's wife is one of the most disgusting and sick, demonic, evil things you can do on this earth, is to do that. But today, our people, it's done like washing up, taking a shower. You can just do it without any thought of consequence or judgment. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. So look, the end of you committing adultery on both sides, the man and the woman, is going to be death. All right, Yahweh is going to put you to death for committing adultery. All right, for not being pious. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare the precious. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. If he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Like the elder said, if we were in our power, Jada Pinkett Smith, which is a poster of a lot of women, a lot of black women, a lot of Edomite women and Latino women, they look at her as winning, having this good man, and she's winning, and she's tied to him financially. So anytime she want to leave, she can just take half, which is that's a stupid contract to enter into. And remember, that's an Edomite contract. Why would you willingly enter into an Edomite contract like that, which doesn't benefit you whatsoever? But we'll move on from that. You brothers know you're not supposed to be signing certain contracts. You're not supposed to be signing, with the devil. I can see a student loan or something like that. But this, it's no point. You getting zero benefit out of it. She gets all the benefit. All right. All right, where were we? All right. Yeah. So she should have been put to death. All right. And the man that she committed adultery with should have been put to death. All right. But in Esau's kingdom, he calls that murder and not a righteous kill. All right. This is why Babylon, which is America, and these nations where these Edomites rule have to be thrown down. That's why when the spiritual forces come, the angels come and they destroy all these lands. This is the reasons why. Because of adultery is running rampant. Sodomy is running rampant. And Yahweh is going to come back to the earth and establish order. All right. Not Christ, not Jesus. Yahweh is going to come back to the earth and establish order. All right. Now, I think that was all my scripture. I have one more scripture, and then I have Bible dictionary, a few paragraphs out of the Bible dictionary. I think we went over everything. Hope it was clear. This is Isaiah 4:1. It says, "In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." All right, and we've done lessons on this before. So look up the playlist family. All right. This is Charapa, which means shame. Conditions of shame, disgrace. Because when a woman does not have a husband and doesn't have children, it's shameful. All right. This is why you have a certain group of women that they start approaching that 40-year mark in their life. They start to they had their fun in their 20s and 30s, and then in about their mid 30s or even sometimes late 20s, they want to start to lock a man down with a marriage contract. All right. Because they understand that their worth is based upon a man's success. All right. Their worth is based upon a man's success. And when they get to a certain age, they start to realize like the only thing they were really worth was, their bodies. All right. That's it. Because they don't have any other skills really to bring to a marriage. All right. So to take away their reproach, they have to get with a Hebrew Israelite man or man, but for salvation, to actually, to be, saved, to escape, like it says here in the second verse, to escape, you're going to have to get with an Israelite man, and you're going to leave on his ticket. All right. To take away that shame, that taunt, that you 40 years old, you ain't got no children, or 40 years old, you got 5 different children by 3 different dudes. Only way you're going to be cleansed is by attaching yourself to an Israelite man. All right. In that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. All right. We got Palayata, escape, delivered, deliverance of the remnant. So if you attach to, the brother in the faith that's of the elect, you're going to be delivered. Remnant, escape, deliverance. Action of being rescued or set free from the dominion of the devil, of Satan, which we can't really govern our household like we're supposed to, righteously, because we're under Esau, Edom. All right, now, so you went through marriage, adultery. This is marriage. Marriage again, or duty of marriage. Duty of marriage. Well, let me put wife. It says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. A wife, a female, a woman, a female. This is a family. Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary says family. It says the Old Testament has no term corresponding exactly to the English family. The Hebrew family unit was larger than families today, and included some or all of the following: the father or master, the supreme head of the household, his mother, if she was living with him after the death of his father. The men always die first. Well, especially today. All right. But in Abraham's situation, she died first. But a lot of times it's typical for these modern times that the men die first because of all the stress and the heavy weights in our mind. We end up dying first. His wives. All right, where we go. If she was living with him after the death of his father. All right, the mother, his mother. His wives, that's plural, and concubines and their children. All right. So if you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite in the faith, whether you're a man or a woman, you have to understand what it really means to be in the faith. All right. Not saying we're going to the fullest extent, because we're still under Esau's, kingdom, under his rulership. We're still in his kingdom under his rulership. I mean, there's certain things that we just can't do. Hence, we can't put a sodomite to death. That's the one that's commonly used, or put to death adulterers and adulteresses. We can't do that. But things that that it is possible, that's conceivable to do, it's lawful. All right, it's permissible. All right, and if you were a Hebrew Israelite in the faith, you got to be okay with it. It's permissible. You got to be okay with it. You can't be looking down at another brother or sister because they in that situation where they're keeping the law. Can't be looking down on other jakes because they keep following the system that was set up by Yahweh and Son Yahweh Shai. All right. His wives and concubines. All right. So you women, especially you black women, got to get over that. All right. His children by other women, and his children by other women. His children by other women don't concern you. That's his responsibility to take care of them. All right. Daughters-in-law and sons-in-law living on the perennial estate. other free Israelite friends and relatives, foreigners living under his protection. All right, so this is how much responsibility Israelite men have, and women want to be men. They want to adopt this feminism, which is personal social equality of the sexes or genders. And when you have feminism, you don't believe it's right to prioritize male points of views. Well, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, I'm reading these are all male points of views, which Yahweh and his son Yahushai set up. Really, Yahweh set it up, and Yahushai. Well, Yahweh gave the word, and Yahushai set it up with his power, given to him by his father. All right, since under his protection, and male and female slaves, meaning servants. You have like maids or whatever, or housekeepers. Since in primitive times, the primary family assumed many of the responsibilities of modern government, like protection of life and property. If somebody hits your car, you get people in your house and your neighbors together, and you run a dude down or the person down and stop the car and get his information. All right, or somebody robbing your house, you handle it. You don't say somebody call the cops and say somebody break into my house. I have a weapon, but I'm afraid to use it. I'm gonna let the cops come. No, you're just supposed to handle it. All right, and then you call the cops to document it. All right. Responsibilities of modern government, with the responsibility of the head of the house and of the people living in the house, like protection of life and property. So that was a decent example I gave. Large families were necessary. Marriage was not arranged by the young people involved, but by the man or his father. All right, so the man set the marriages up, and or the father got the women for the males in the family. It wasn't the woman planning the wedding. You get a wedding planner and the woman plans all this stuff out. I mean, look, we're not making this stuff up. All right, just you've been living, like the elder apostle was saying. You Israelites been living in America too long. You've been living in this relaxed system so long. Your mind is all fucked up. Read that again. Marriage was arranged not by the young people involved, but by the man and the family of the bride. It says in the parentheses, or the father, for whom a dowry or purchase money was paid to her father, in spite of the commercial aspect of marriage. The commercial aspect of the marriage contract, there is evidence that the love of young people for each other often had an important part in preliminaries of the marriage. Yeah, but that's not really. See, they had to put the evidence there, because that's not having love. The love part that really comes second. Progeny and family comes first. Then the love thing comes second. It seemed like they had to throw that in there. The love thing. I know I just said blasphemous words to certain people, but that's just a fact. In spite of the commercial, it was commercial. Yeah, love was there, it was built. I mean, you can't. Oftentimes, you're not just gonna see somebody and just fall in love with them, but sometimes you can. Like Isaac, he did fall in love with Rebecca? Yeah, Rebecca when he seen her. All right, but yeah, that comes second. Family and progeny is first. Meaning your seed, conceiving seed. Meaning a woman taking in the sperm, holding it, and the seed being nurtured and growing in the woman's womb, and then the child comes out after nine months. All right. It says, there is evidence that they threw it in here. There is evidence that the love of the young people for each other often had an important part in preliminaries of arranged marriages. And it cites these two scriptures. The wife was regarded as property of the husband. He could divorce her, but she could not divorce him. Not only were polygamy and concubines permitted, but no disgrace was attached to them. Wives, however, usually enjoyed more consideration than concubines. Not usually. Usually means most of the time. Yeah, there's a difference between a wife and a concubine. All right. Within his own domain, the authority of the head of the family was absolute. He could sell his children as slaves and had power of life and death over them. All right. Meaning, when you say slaves, meaning that you send them to work. You send them out to work. They got to get jobs under the authority of another Hebrew Israelite. All right. So that is the meaning of family right there. All right, and that is different from Esau Edom's definition of what it means to take a wife, adultery, children working there. Why they have child labor laws? So you can't, you got to be I think 13 to work in America, and you can only work a certain amount of hours. I think at 13. I think I had my first job when I was 13. And I had to get this little card that said I'm a citizen, I'm an American citizen, and I guess I was healthy or something like that. And I don't believe I could work full time, if I'm not mistaken, when I was 13. I'm not sure. That was so long ago. It was like 1997 or 1998 or something like that. All right, that's the lesson. That is the lesson. Adultery, feminism, salvation through marriage. What adultery really is, it's different from what Esau Edom, what his legal system of adultery marriage is. All right, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, stick to the scriptural facts. All right. Not Esau Edom's law. So I hope you edified. Until the next lesson, Shalom.